Hey y'all. So, it's patch day. Update 0.7.4, I believe it is, has come out. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to the update numbers. What do you want from me? So, that's come out. I figured today would be a good day to actually make a commentary. Haven't really been doing much with YouTube as of late, just kind of taking a break from it just because A, I'm lazy, and B, school's a bitch. Yeah. So, I got a couple Yugumo gameplays here lined up. They've been lined up for a little while, but yeah, better late than never, I suppose, for making these things. These were two games that I got back to back with this little destroyer here, back when I was going through and grinding for all the modules. At the time that I recorded this, the FCS was the only thing I still needed to research. Once that thing is equipped, the gun range and the torpedo range, assuming you have the 12 kilometer set, they are a 1-to-1. So it's just one white circle ringed around the ship on the minimap. And this Missouri is about to have a bad day. As you can see, I always run torpedo reload booster on my Japanese destroyers. Ever since I got my hands on it with the Kagero, this is just how I play my high tier Japanese. And by the way, yeah, the replay just kind of fucked up, and it didn't show me targeting that Missouri there, but I assure you, I didn't just fire those torpedoes blind. So, torpedo reload booster it's an interesting way to play the Japanese destroyers. Obviously, you get no smoke, so you gotta be both very smart with how you play and also kinda lucky, but it is very, very beneficial in certain cases, like here with that battleship there. I mean, he knows something was in the cap circle, a destroyer, but doesn't know where I am, and doesn't know I am a Yugumo with torpedo reload booster. So he takes a couple torpedoes there, which I'm guessing, if he has a brain on him, were, at least expected on some level. But that second set should come as a complete surprise, and obviously he repaired the damage from the first set of torpedoes, so there's the one hit that I need, well, two hits, and that guy's going to flood to death. And I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit to when he finally goes down. I'm going to be skipping and crossfading quite a bit during these games, just because, well, this is what Yugumo gameplay is like. Just fire torpedoes at stuff, sail around a little bit, cap some stuff, fire more torpedoes. It's not the most interesting thing to make a video out of, so I cut down a lot of just me sailing around from point A to point B, but that made the video quite short, so you know what, let's just stitch two replays together into one video. So, yeah, this is just the first video of or first replay, rather, of a doubleheader. So, yeah, this enemy Pan-Asian was contesting the cap with me. But thankfully, he's on low health, so I am able to sneak up on him. And that's the thing that you don't see, even now, you don't see this a lot with Japanese destroyers. You got guns. You can use your guns. That's not a bad thing if you're in the appropriate situation. And I'll tell you what, right here is really not the appropriate situation to be going for a torpedo launch. I wanted to sneak up on that Missouri, but then I saw half my team sitting right in front of it, right where I was going to be launching those torpedoes. So, sure, I probably could have launched maybe one set of tubes and ensured that all four of them hit the enemy, but it was too big of a risk, and besides, that gearing over there definitely had that covered. So, all it really succeeded in doing was giving that Missouri a couple thousand damage before he ended up going down. And and it was just his AI gunners that did it. It was just for free. Absolutely no effort expended on his part, which kind of sucks, but hey, I get the cap. But moving on. The Japanese destroyers as a whole, after they were broken up and nerfed once upon a time, they were something that I really wasn't too keen on playing, but still, I got a Fubuki for free out of that line split deal, so I figured I'd try it out and just see what came of it. I was kind of sluggish with playing it, but, you know, I eventually ended up getting used to it and had that very hair-raising game that is in a video and as well as in GIF form on Reddit somewhere of winning a game like in the enemy cap circle while under attack by the enemy carrier, just avoiding torpedoes and dive bombers. So, you know, still the most cinematic ending I've ever had to a game of World of Warships. And yes, here's the torpedo reload booster in action again. 2 sets at the Richelieu, which I actually end up hitting 3 torpedoes at a target that's nearly bow on, which is actually kind of impressive. But then the other 2 sets are going for that Bismarck that is much further in the back. And that guy should absolutely not see those torpedoes coming whatsoever, unless he happens to be running Hydro, which, honestly, there would be no reason for him to be running Hydro. Like, who would expect torpedoes to be coming now? And, again, that's the beauty of it. Yep. So, after the Fubuki, I decided, okay, let's go on to the Akatsuki. That's just a big Fubuki, right? Yeah, I ended up starting the Akatsuki with a record of 15-0. It was my 16th game that I finally lost. So, clearly I had endeared myself to the Japanese destroyers by that point. Another set of torpedoes at this Musashi here, though sadly I'm only going to hit 1. My friendly gearing over there is going to end up finishing him off. So, Akatsuki grind went very well, so ended up going over to the Kagero. And the Kagero is the first destroyer in the Japanese main line that gets access to the torpedo reload booster. Now, I've seen plenty of videos and, you know, plenty of people in-game running this thing, so I wanted to give it a try myself. It's a very interesting way of playing this ship. You know, no smokescreen, and you're entirely reliant on your just raw stealth, which thankfully the Kagero as well as the Yugumo, the raw stealth is extremely good. Kagero is 5.4 kilometer detection range with all of the relevant concealment upgrades, whereas the Yugumo actually gets a slight nerf. It's 5.5. I guess it's just because it's a slightly bigger ship, maybe. I don't know. You need something to balance out the assortment of minor upgrades you get from going from the Kagero to the Yugumo, just because they're pretty much the same ship. It's just a little bit more health, better torpedoes, slightly better guns. You know, you get the same number of torpedoes and everything. It's the same sort of gameplay. The transition from Yugumo to Shimikaze will be a bit more stark because I will lose the torpedo reload booster, and I'll have to go back to playing the more, I guess, typical Japanese destroyer style of gameplay. But, you know, that's something that actually is still off in the future. The Yugumo, though, is something I'm very much enjoying right now in the game as it is. And hopefully by the time I'm actually, you know, before I get finished with the grind, I'll be able to use a Yugumo with the fun blue, white, and black color palette. I'm very close to completing Yamamoto collection. I know I'm late, but again, better late than never. My rambling aside, this second game on Okinawa did not start out in a way that made me feel too confident. The team was insistent on an A-B strategy, which is usually not a good idea since there is no way to, you know, have the ships at A support the ships at B and vice versa. But, you know, fine, whatever, I go along with it. Throw some torpedoes down toward the other end of the channel, no luck. But the friendly Alsace is actually aggressive in pushing through A, which you normally don't see, and that will help with putting pressure on the enemy team from the flank, which will be quite useful, considering it'll push them all down towards C. So, I turn around after capping A and head on over to try and contest B, because all 3 enemy destroyers are just sitting in the cap. So, these enemy destroyers, it's a Fletcher, a Leningrad, and a Z-23. these destroyers are all gunboats, but they all have worse detection than the Yugumo. So all I have to do, I don't even need a smokescreen to do this. All I have to do is slink my way into the cap, make sure I'm on my team's side of the capture circle, and just stay along the edge. I am so stealthy that I will spot those enemy destroyers way before they spot me, if they come over looking for me. And with half my team behind me, there is no way in hell they're going to get anywhere close to me without being blown out of the water. So I am surprisingly safe just sitting here in the cap circle where I am. So I give those two battleships over there, an Iowa and a Richelieu, give them the 16 fish treatment. The Iowa is going to be taking the bulk of that first salvo, whereas the second was just kind of aimed in a more general direction here. I'm also turning the ass end of the ship toward where all those enemy destroyers are, just to make it even more difficult for them to hit me with, honestly, blind fire torps just aimed at the ships behind me. And yes, the Iowa is left on only a couple thousand health, and the team finishes him off. Should have been my kill, but I'm about to get repaid for it. I only take, see what I mean with the enemy torpedoes? I only get one torpedo hit on the Richelieu, but of course this is a Type 93 Mod 3 torpedo on the bow, so of course it causes flooding. And my flooding is actually going to be enough to finish that guy off. Yeah. Honestly, I was expecting it to go the other way around, but hey, again, a kill's a kill. And fast forward a little bit, the Cyclone is now active, and I honestly stayed in that spot a little bit too long, and I'm kind of now in the shit. The enemy Bismarck actually flanked through sea and ended up getting close enough to spot me, and then another enemy Bismarck decided to push directly through the cap, and I don't have my reload booster up, so yeah, I'm now getting sandwiched between two Bismarcks. So at this point, why the hell not? Fire the guns. Who knows? Could start a fire, could help kill that guy quicker. First Bismarck goes down to torpedoes. Second, thankfully goes down too, but now, of course, I've fired my guns, and there's a Musashi there. But Musashi doesn't appear too interested in me. So, pop the reload booster, save some 45 seconds on the torpedoes, and I'm going to pop one last salvo for this game at this Musashi, and just see what happens. Now, alright, make sure I don't briefly kiss the ass of North Carolina there. So, yes. This will actually be the last bit of damage I do in this game, because after pegging this Musashi with a couple torpedoes, the team will finish him off, and, well, then just mop up the 3 destroyers. Those 3 enemy gunboat destroyers ended up being the last 3 surviving enemies on their team, which I think was kind of interesting. Me and my friendly destroyer didn't really do anything to directly counter them, other than just kill all of their friends. So, yes. The Yugumo. Very, very fun little Japanese destroyer. I'm really liking it right now, and I'm honestly hoping I can get a few more games of this thing before I end up moving on to the Shimakaze. But, yeah, that's it for now. I'm rotting my brain, and that is the video.